On the live the scripture breakdown class here. You understand? Mandatory scripture breakdown class at Isupk, Virginia. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans to be in here. All right. Gonna get into this. Not to forget the Most High. We're going into the night. Shalom. Yahweh Shemel Shabrakatah. Super Yagadar in here. Most High in Christ.
Shalom, Alawam. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
Yahweh Shemel Shabrakatah. Get it on in here. Lord want us to not forget him. That's a big problem with our nation. Like the Lord was always telling our people were very, very ungrateful for the Lord choosing us. You understand? The Lord choosing us, giving us the information to be his people, that he chose us to make us the apple of his eye. You understand? All right. So what we're going to go to here, the Lord is telling us, the Lord has been telling our people that he chose us. He made us his people. All right. He made us his people. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Let's start the Shalom, brother. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Khan. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
This is the Lord speaking. He's saying that we are a holy people. The word holy, the scriptures is going to describe what exactly the Lord is saying when he's saying we are a holy people. You understand? Keep going.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Unto the Lord thy God. Thy is a possessive pronoun, shows ownership, means your. You understand? Like the God of this Bible is we are his people. We belong to him. The Bible is not something that is open for everyone. The Bible is not how the Christian church has portrayed the Bible, which has led to the great mass confusion because the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. The Bible is not for everyone. The Bible is not an open, records and books that everyone can go and learn about, this God that loves and cares and has compassion. The God of the Bible is not the God of everyone. He is the only one true living God, but he is not the God of every people on the planet. And we're going to get into that tonight as well. So keep going.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
Right.
To be a special people unto himself.
The Lord chose us to be a special people unto himself, meaning a people that are special, that belong to him. You understand? And it's very important to learn that concept, that the Lord is saying that we belong to him and we are special. He created everything, the sun, the moon, the stars, the sky, the air, everything that he created. Great wondrous works that man is still trying to figure out to this day. The depths of the sea, the vast reaches of outer space, and the stars in the face of the deep, the stratosphere, the different birds and life forms, insects, bacteria. Man has been trying to figure out the things that the Lord revealed unto the prophets for centuries. Before modern technology, before man could figure things out, the Lord revealed his secrets unto the prophets to reveal unto his children, because we are a special people unto God. You understand? So keep going.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
The Lord said he chose us to be a special people above all people. That means above everyone else on the face of the earth. Hey, shalom, Michael. Above all people on the earth. I mean, everywhere on the planet Earth, the Lord has a favorite people. If you think about all the customs and all the things you learn about China and all of their great Chinese this and their Chinese medicine, and you go to India and you learn about their ancient Indian culture and all their Indian gods and their Indian artifacts and their food, and then you go to Africa and you learn about Egypt, and you learn about Ghana, and they make movies about fake African places like Wakanda, and they make movies and stars, and you see Egypt and Rome and Greece, all of these things, all of these empires in Babylon and Assyria, out of all of these things at every point in time in human history, since the development of any sort of records of anything being kept, God has already chosen one people that, despite everything you see, everything you hear, whatever is popular at the time, R&B groups used to be popular in the 90s, the 80s, in the 70s. Soul music used to be popular and big in the 60s, the 70s. Now it's not the same. You understand? Women used to dress in modest apparel, and that was the norm. A woman who did not have a husband, they would look at her as though something was wrong. That was the norm. Times change. The seasons change. There's winter, there's spring, there's summer, there's fall. You understand? And throughout all of the things that go on in life and throughout all of the history of creation, God has always had a favorite people. And that's something important. And that's something to not be taken lightly, because as God's favorite people, we have a responsibility to represent God. You understand? So keep going.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people.
The Lord did not choose us because we were more. In fact, we were the least. We were the youngest nation. All of the nations were formed in Genesis, the 10th chapter. It lists all of the nations and their families. Everyone that is on the planet now, they are a relative or some kin to the families listed in Genesis, the 10th chapter. The very last nation that was created was the nation of Israel. You understand? Which came from Jacob, which came from a covenant and a promise that the Lord made to Isaac. He made to Abraham, that he passed down to Isaac, that he passed to Jacob, that passed to Jacob's 12 sons, which today are all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to this day. Our lineage and heritage is the absolute greatest and most sought after and fought over and widely published, plagiarized, misused, and misunderstood records of all text of all times throughout all generations. That is known as the Bible. That is because out of everything that everyone believes, the records in this Bible are true. And with real people who want power over the earth, they know they need these records, and they need the people of these records in order to build the great empires that are throughout the Bible. That's why Russia is the way that it is. That's why Europe is the way that it is. That's why Africa is the way that it is. All of the major developments and things may seem like everyone on the earth is coming up with something. They got Chinese technology. They got Iranian scientists. They got Korean scientists. That's what they put on the news. All of those things that their scientists are expounding on are inventions that some sister made up in the 60s and the 40s. Some brother invented this in the 60s and the 40s and the 30s. Some secret that the Lord gave unto the prophets thousands of years ago that the other nations and people now are capitalizing on, because our people and our nation is destroyed and in exile. And it's very important to learn that thing. It's very important to take that and make it a part of yourself, just like the Chinese make their ancient heritage and records a part of themselves. Just like our oppressors make their records and heritage a part of themselves. So when they try to tell you, you weren't there for slavery, or you weren't there when the conquistadors came and murdered the tribes of Israel, murdered the Aztecs and the Incas and the Mayans, the brothers and sisters, North, South, Central America, and throughout the Caribbeans and the Taino and Arawak Islands and the Caribs, you understand? No nation of people throws away their history. And don't ever let anyone force or coerce you into thinking that your history does not matter, that your God does not matter. that your records do not matter, that all melanated people are the same, that is garbage. Because an East Indian man will never allow you to consider him the same as a black man. An African will never allow you to consider him the same as a black man. An Ethiopian will not allow you to consider him a Nigerian. A Chinese man will never allow you to consider him the same as a Vietnamese or a Japanese. The Jewish white man will never allow you to consider him the same as the German white man. They will not allow these things. Do not ever allow anyone to do this to you. You understand? And that is why these records in the Bible are so very important, because these are the actual link to unlocking who we are. Not some ancestry test, some silly DNA nonsense that give you results of 5 different people from 5 different places. All of that is nonsense. That ancestry.com DNA database garbage, that's for suckers. That's an FBI database. Some nut killed his roommates in New York or Oregon, something like that. They caught him because he put his DNA in that stupid ancestry.com database, trying to find his ancestors. You understand? And they found 400 possible matches to that DNA at that crime scene, because all the nuts putting their information in ancestry.com trying to figure out if they're related to some great white family from Europe somewhere. That is foolishness. Don't do that. Don't come into UPK and be one of those people. Get rid of that. There's a lot of things that you have, that I have, that brothers and sisters come into the truth, which means come into the ISUPK, and they have and bring these things with them from how we were raised, how we were brought up, and a ton of that nonsense has to be thrown away in order for you to actually focus on building the kingdom and becoming a new man, a new woman. You understand? So just keep that in mind. Start that verse one more time from the top, warrior.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people.
That's
For
why
you were Salakia.
You understand? Go ahead, finish it out.
Salakia. For you were the fewest of all people.
We were the fewest of all people because we were the last. Every other nation had existed for hundreds and hundreds of years before the children of Israel came about. It was only 70 of us when we went into Egypt. We went into Egypt, it was 70 of us. We came out of Egypt, a crazy number. We came out of Egypt, so it was so many of us when we came out of Egypt. The Egyptians were terrified because of how many of us it was. They were terrified. You understand? So that's what the Lord is saying. Read the first part of that by one more time. Before you start, young man Kenny, take me to 2nd Ezra's in the Apocrypha, chapter 6 and verse 54. All right. Go ahead and read what you got, Yagadar.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people.
The Lord is saying he set his love upon us as a people, and he chose us. You understand? What's going on? Salaki, bear with me just a moment. Okay. The Lord said he set his love upon us and chose us. This was not a decision that we made. Apart from the Most High making us a people, we did not have this reputation. The great and wonderful things about the Most High, the world had never known. The great power of the one true living God, the world did not know. The world prayed and understood nothing about life. They worshiped the sun and the moon and the stars and the animals that they use for their crops to live and survive. They did not know the Most High. The Lord did not deal with them the way that he dealt with the children of Israel. And that is something for us to take very personally. You understand? Like, we have to make this personal, that we are reclaiming our heritage as a nation. The Lord set his love, his focus on a people and made these people better than all the other people that he himself was making. That's very important. All right. So you finish verse 7?
I don't want.
Go ahead, finish verse 7.
For you were the fewest of all people.
We were the fewest. What they call us still to this day, they call us a minority. You understand? That's spiritual. We were the fewest of all people. And that's something that we have to put into our spirit to not allow to be lumped in with everybody. Because there are fewer Asians in America, there are fewer Chinese in America than there are black people. There are fewer Koreans, Vietnamese, Japanese here in America than there are black people. So by that process, they are more of a minority than we are. So while we are getting killed at traffic stops and gunned down by police, and sisters getting their clothes ripped off at the damn Waffle House by racist, oppressor police officers, the Chinese man get punched in the face twice in 3 weeks. They got to stop Asian hate bill. And these are things that we have to get out of our spirit as a people. This minority. We are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are the children of Israel. We are God's chosen people. And nothing about us is to be lumped in with another nation of people, because, of course, our oppressor's agenda is not to destroy China. It's not to destroy all of these other nations of people. You understand? What's going on with this? It's to destroy God's chosen people. It's to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's what America's agenda is. That's always what it's been. Even from the founding, from the creation of America, the purpose was to wipe out all the natives, then to wipe out all the Mexicans as they expanded further west, then to enslave these people to build up their empire. Then it's too many of them, which is exactly what Egypt did. They got free labor for hundreds of years, and then all of a sudden that free labor they thought was a threat, because they saw that we were mightier than them, we were more than them, we were stronger than them, we were smarter than them, we were better than them at everything, and that made them very afraid. Even though they had this wealth, this power, this land, and all this prestige of being Egypt, they are deathly afraid of our people. They're deathly afraid of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That is why out of hey, Shalom, brother. Did you just try to call me, brother? I'm teaching in class. That's probably why. All right. They're deathly afraid of the children of Israel. That is why Venezuela and Haiti and Puerto Rico and all the brothers who are Israelites are not allowed to be refugees seeking asylum here in America, and Afghans and Iraqis who have been killing Americans for decades since 9/11 are welcomed here in America with open arms. There is an agenda to destroy our people, and you must be a part of the agenda to build your people up. That is what the truth is for. That is what the Bible is about. You understand? So, young man, Kenny, read with me what you got.
Con. Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures.
God, the Most High, made Adam from the very beginning, the book of Genesis. The Most High made Adam Lord, meaning ruler, or Adawan, the head over all the creatures that he made. He gave Adam dominion and power and authority, and he gave Adam rules and instructions on how to wield that power and authority. There's a very big misconception because of the Christian church that things just magically fall into place. I remember watching a video very recently. There was a fight in the courtroom. It was in Norfolk. It was either Norfolk or Newport News 1. I believe it was in Norfolk. There's a fight in the courtroom. There's a child support court hearing. They're in there fighting, yelling. Eventually, they start throwing chairs, throwing computers, everything. There's not an officer in sight, nowhere. However, the people in the video, there's sisters in the video, and a few of the sisters is screaming, "Oh my God, oh my God." You understand? Oh my God, oh my God. This is it's a misconstrued concept with our people Not to say just with that sister, of course, you see something crazy, you understand, that's generally what most people is going to say. But with the problems and things that happen to our people, it is in the mindset of our people because of the Christian church that God magically just swoops in and fixes everything. You hear Christians say this all the time. They say, I'll pray about it. I'll pray about it. They're going to pray about it. They're going to pray about it. And in their mind, this means I am absolved as to my personal responsibility for fixing this problem. I'm not responsible for fixing this problem. God does not expect me to fix this problem. There's nothing I need to do to fix this problem. You'll hear black people talk about this all the time. Well, that's the parents' fault. Well, the parents have to do better. It was their fault. It's their fault. They got to do better. They should know better. People, folks, some general term that absolves them of the responsibility on their part to fix the issues and the problems that they see on an everyday basis. That is what the truth is for. That is what the faith in Christ is about. That is what actually being in the body of Christ is about. You cannot do that without an army. Men fix things. The answer to prayers is men fixing things. That's how prayers get solved. You understand? So we're going to get, that's why the Lord put Adam in charge from the very beginning, because in order for things to be in order, God does not magically swoop in and just put everything in place like a cheat code, which is what our people think. That's why they think give it to God and Jesus take the wheel, and by the blood of Jesus, everybody thinks things will magically just work themselves out, because that is what Christianity has taught our people. When in reality, that's not how things work. You understand? If there's a fire, you don't pray for the fire to go out. What do people do if there's a fire? There's an emergency. You don't pray that an angel swoops down and just fixes everything, because that's not what happens. You understand? Who can tell us what happens? How does an emergency get fixed? How do those prayers get resolved? If there's a fire, how does that get fixed? Who knows? There's some emergency, some car accident. Why would there ever be accidents or emergencies? How could anything ever catch on fire? If God could just magically make everything work perfectly, there wouldn't be any fires. There wouldn't be any accidents. There wouldn't be any heart attacks or strokes or breaking arms or concussions. Everything would just work perfectly. Who knows? Who wants to give it a shot?
Salaki, I don't want, if I may.
All right, go ahead.
There's a fire. Somebody has to put that fire out. It takes people. It takes people to respond to it and fix the issue.
That's correct. Through works. Give me a little bit more. This brother that responded. Put your name in there so we can get you down for attendance. Give me a little bit more. Someone has to respond. Okay, I'll take that. Who else wants to give it a shot? My house is on fire. Jesus, by the blood of Jesus, by the blood of Jesus. You understand? What's going to happen to that house? Is an angel is going to come and put that fire out magically? That's how fires get put out? Praying about it, give it to God, let Jesus take the wheel. That's how fires get put out. They have something that's put in place to deal with fires and emergency. It's not magic. It's not magic at all. You understand? It's not magic. Give y'all a few more moments. How would something like that get resolved? It's going to be specialization, specialized people that's going to focus on dealing with handling fires. They're not magically just going to know how to deal with fires. They're going to train. It's a fire department. That's correct. They're going to train on how to deal with the fires. They're going to study the fires. They're going to prepare themselves mentally and physically to deal with that very dangerous situation of handling the fire. That very life-threatening situation when your house is on fire, car is on fire, time-sensitive, very high stressful situation, they're going to prepare for that. You understand? When 9/11 happened, America didn't pray for the 9/11 hijackers. They had people prepared to deal with emergency situations when terrorists come to blow up your country, that are trained to deal with pressure and stress and life and death situations. They have men prepared to deal with that. You understand? That's how the Lord actually set life up. Not for him to just magically swoop in and grant all your wishes and prayers. There are men that the Lord put in charge that put things in place to deal with all of these situations. And that can be overlooked as the Christian church is parading individualism and woman thou art loose and feminism. And they make more of these goddamn woman king Wakanda forever movies that inspire women to go out and be warriors and gladiators, which is the exact opposite of how the Lord created life, which is mainly targeted at sisters to further destroy our nation. You understand? That's a spiritual attack. There's a reason why. There's a very spiritual attack that's done. You understand? And they keep making more and more of them, which is why we're highlighting them here in the scripture breakdown class. Like the Lord put his love on our people, and these things are to put us back in that proper order that the Lord set up. All right? Like he chose us and gave us instructions that the rest of the world is now has set things in place based on what the Lord taught our people. And that is how the world is shaped to this day. All right? So read what you got, young man kid.
Con. Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54.
So like you got your headpiece, warrior?
Con.
Yeah, go ahead, make sure you get your headpiece on. Go ahead and put your headpiece on real quick. We'll wait for you. You understand? All right. Let's make sure you got that. Like that's what the Lord is saying there. The Lord is explaining to our people, he made us special. And by us not operating in the rules that he gave us, this cheapens us as a people. It cheapens us as a people. It destroys us. You understand? All right. What's that, brother?
Okay.
No, I said headpiece. Your headpiece for your head.
Oh, no. I thought you couldn't hear me. I tried to go get the microphone.
No sweat. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Said headpiece. Okay.
Got get one. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you couldn't hear me. Salaki.
No sweat. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, right. And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Like Adam, the Lord made Adam Lord over everything. Everyone comes from Adam because after the flood, the Lord chose Adam's lineage, who was Noah. That's why it lists the lineage of Adam in Luke, the 3rd chapter. All of these things are important. Your lineage is important. Now, of course, because of slavery, we scattered all over the world. Our direct father to father, the grandfather, the great, our lineages as a nation have been discontinued. But our forefathers' lineages as to the prominent members of our family, for our kings, for Christ, for King David, for Adam, for King Solomon, those things are recorded in the Bible because these are our ancient heritage and forefathers. This is how we became a nation. You understand? So keep going.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord.
You got it.
Because thou madest the world for our sakes.
The world was made for the sakes of the children of Adam. In the very beginning of the Bible, in Genesis, the 6th chapter, it tells you that the sons of God, which were Adam's sons, you can find that in Luke 3 and 38, and the children of men were the other nations of people that were around that were absolutely irrelevant to God, to the Bible, to our records, our story. They're absolutely irrelevant. You understand? Everybody knows the star that's in the movie. They know the star. They know the co-star. Nobody knows who was the guy that went and changed the battery for the camera. They don't know him. They don't know the guy who went and picked the food up from the caterer. They don't know who that is. They don't know the girl who did the makeup. They don't know her. But they're also a part of the story, but they're not relevant to the story. You understand? And this is what the Lord wants us to put into our spirit as concerning these other nations, as concerning who the Lord made us to be. So keep going.
Verse 56. As for the other people
who are not the children of Adam, everyone started from Adam because of Noah. The earth repopulated again and was filled with people after the flood. Genesis, the 10th chapter, lists all the families of the people refilling the earth again. Then the Lord changes everyone's language, scatters everyone throughout the world, throughout the planet, and then he sets out to create his special lineage again through Abraham, then through Isaac, then Jacob. All right. Everybody make sure y'all hit the thumbs up. Y'all hit the shares. All right. So keep going.
Which also come of Adam.
All the other people come from Adam too. The Egyptians, the Ethiopians, everybody comes from Adam. All the different Ukrainians and Arabs and Iraqis and Asians and East Indians, everybody comes from Adam through Noah's lineage. His 3 sons and their wives, Noah and his wife were the only people that survived through the flood. So because of that, everyone comes from Adam, but everyone is not equal in God's eyes. And this is something very important to get out of your spirit, that equality does not exist. That's a myth. That's a lie. You understand, from our oppressor, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of. So as for the other people that are also come from Adam, keep going.
Thou hast said that
God
they are.
Thou hast said. That's how you want to read that, because that's a very powerful point to put emphasis on. Thou hast said. This is what God said about the other people that also come from Adam. Keep going. God has said.
God has said that they are nothing.
God said that they are nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. All the great and wonderful things that you've ever seen and heard about China, that you've seen and learned about the nunchucks and the karate and all the kung fu and all of their breaking bricks and Kia and all of their great movies and all of Rome and Greece and the pillars and the Colosseum and Egypt and the Pharaoh and the Sphinx and the pyramids and America and the Eagle and the Marines and the Air Force and fireworks, all of the great and wonderful things that you've ever learned about civilization. To God, they mean nothing. Egypt is nothing to the Lord. Black people love Egypt to this very day. They love that bald-headed woman. That's why you see in that damn Wakanda movie, all the women bald-headed as hell. You understand? That's a concept. They love putting that alien-looking cone head that Angela Bassett wears. That's Egypt. Queen Latifah used to wear that back in the 90s. A lot of sisters wore that with the bald head, getting that nasty Ankh tattoo. If you ever see a woman with that Horus eagle wings on her chest somewhere, or up underneath her breast, you ever see a woman with that or that Ankh, you better run from that woman. You better run from her like she got a bomb in her hand. You understand? That's a sign. It's an evil sign. You understand? That damn wing with the eagle Rihanna got on her and every sister's getting, you better run, brother. Egypt is a horrible, treacherous place and a terrible demon on our people. That word queen comes from a prostitute. Quean, not what they made Qeen. That's where that word queen comes from. Some whore having sex with everybody, and that's what Nefertiti was. That's who Cleopatra was. You understand? And this we need to get out of our spirits as a people, to stop romanticizing all of these other nations and their Islam and their church and their Christianity and their gods and their history and their founding fathers. That's not our people. Everybody, all of those West African tribes that's real nice and famous now, nobody wanted to be them while they were selling us for hundreds of years. After hundreds of years of selling and killing and murdering us, now it's popular to be all of these people. You understand? Now everybody wants to be him because it's benefits now. Nobody wanted to be black people, even though everybody was melanated. White people was in one place. They didn't go to Australia. They had not made it to Hawaii yet. You understand? They kept losing control over Europe. You understand? Everybody on the planet, the natives, everybody. They hadn't bleached the goddamn Asians so that you don't see what real Asians look like. They show you them white looking Asians. That's for TV. The real Asians is what the rest of the continent looks like. It's not them pale, bright white people looking people that you see with the slanted eye. Those not what real Asians look like. In actual Asia, they're brown. They're brown and browner and browner, and they're not from Africa, and they're not black at all. Neither are the Aborigines, neither are the Filipinos. Just because of their hair texture, their nose, their skin color, none of that makes you a certain person. Melanated people is not a race. African is not a race. Moor is not a race. American is not a race. Those are not nationalities. Those are terms. And we must uproot these catch-all terms because all of the other nations of people use those terms to feed off of us and exploit us, like minority, because the majority of the people getting the minority benefit are Asians, are Ukrainians, are Russians. You understand? Like, we have to reclaim our heritage so that if they do something, this is not a minority problem. This is a racial issue against our nation. And that is why the Lord gave us our identity and made us separate. All right. So the Lord said these other nations of people are nothing, but he has more about this nothing. Keep going.
But be like unto spittle.
That's right. That's how you hit that. But be like unto spittle. Spittle is spit. That's how the Lord equates all of these other nations of people. But he's going to get a little bit more specific, not just spit. Because you understand? Not just spit. There's more about the spit. Keep going.
And has likened.
There you go.
Has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
And has likened the abundance of them. That means when you put all of them together, first he said they like unto spit. They, all of them, they like spit to him. All that kung fu is like spit unto the Lord. It's nothing special to him. You understand? See it for what it is. Yes, you like the movie was entertaining. Don't you go try to be in the damn movie. You like the karate, you like the MMA, you like that, fine. Use it. That's what it is. Buddha is nothing. Allah is nothing. Caesar Borgia is nothing. Ra is nothing. Horus is nothing. Isis is nothing. They all mean absolutely nothing. It's not your God. Their God is not real. You understand? That's for them and their people. The movie was entertaining. That's fine. That's it. It's just a movie. It's just for them. It's nothing special. Don't give your soul and your spirit away because there's a big void in our people wanting to have an identity. And that is what Islam has done. That's what Christianity has done. That's what Pan-Africanism, Egyptology, that's what those things have done. Our people have such a void for an identity that anyone who has a nation that they have an identity, our people will go and pretend to be those people. You understand? And this is why the Lord was telling us from the beginning, which we're getting ready to go to, do not forget him, because this is what was going to happen. So keep going.
Con. And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
A drop that falleth from a vessel. Meaning when you put all of them together, all of the Asians, all of the Africans, all of the Arabs, the East Indians, all of the Europe so-called oppressors, when you put them all together, they are like one drop. You get a bucket of water and you fill that bucket of water up, and then you go walk somewhere, and for a second the water swish around the bowl and it splashed and some of it drop and hit the floor. Nobody would go back to the sink and just turn the faucet on and off real quick so that they can get that splash of water that fell. No one is going to replace that splash of water, because it's not important. You understand? The Lord equates all of the other nations who are not Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans as spit and as a tiny splash of water, a drop, not even a full splash, just a drop that falleth out of a vessel. That's how the Lord looks at all of these other nations. It might be special to you. That's not how the Lord sees it. You understand? They mean nothing to the Most High. Nothing at all. You understand? All right. Any more on that?
La.
Any more on that? That was all of it?
Con one con.
All right. Most High in Christ. All right. Take me to Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. And then Trooper Yagadar, take me to Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. All right, 8 and 1. And we go into there. All right. Let me know when you got it. Go ahead and read yours first, young man Kenny.
Con one con. Psalms chapter 47, verse 19.
Chapter 147.
Con one con.
Mm-hmm.
Con one con. Psalm chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
The Lord revealed his words, the things that you're reading about in this Bible, all of the things that, first of all, everyone has taken and plagiarized the Bible to make it something special for themselves. The reason why they think the silly concepts, what if you die, you're going to come back a butterfly or an elephant, or you understand, this squirrel could have been my mom, all of those silly fables and proverbs, Chinese proverbs, and all that East belief system, that's because they've taken pieces of what's in the Bible and tried to put their own spin on it, and it's dumb. But it seems like it's something wise because our people don't look at the other nations the way that the Lord does, that they are just a drop that falls from a vessel. You understand? Once you put that in your mind, that'll put you in a better perspective to understand, to get a better look on life, how the Lord actually set life up. So keep going.
Con one con. His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Jacob is Israel. Jacob is our forefather. His name was changed to Israel. He wrestled all night with an angel. The angel would not let the angel go. Angels have immense power and strength to tell you what kind of man Jacob was. The angel had to break Jacob's hip to get him to let the angel go. They fought all night because he knew that that angel had power to bless him. And he would not let that angel go because he's thinking about the future generations of his people. He already had the covenant that was passed down from Abraham, who did an amazing thing to leave his homeland, you understand, in the Middle East to go to a place that he doesn't know where it is. The Lord going to give him instructions on the way. That's what our forefathers did. And then he passed that down to Isaac. Isaac, who was a test to see if Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son the way that the Lord was willing to sacrifice his son, who would later be Christ, to save our nation. And Abraham passed that test. And Isaac had a son named Jacob. And then all of Jacob's exploits in his lives are recorded in Genesis. And then our forefather Jacob fought with this angel all night. And the angel changed his name from Jacob to Yashar'Allah, which is a prince with power. And that is our name. And that is what we are known of to this day. This is the heritage. This is what you teach your sons and your daughters. Not Aladdin and Princess Jasmine. That's fine. That's a movie. It's a book. That's fine. You read them a bedtime story. Make sure that your kids know that they're not these silly movies that they're watching. Your daughter likes The Little Mermaid. They got a light-skinned Little Mermaid. That's fine. That's wonderful. Make sure your daughter knows that she's a real princess of the power and not a Disney movie character, because Disney going to double back around and then teach your daughter to be Princess Frozen, who's a goddamn lesbian. So make sure that you teach your sons and your daughters who we really are. Otherwise, Disney will give your daughter an identity. Disney will decide the identity for your son. You understand? We don't have children's classes in ISUPK. The same demon that is seeking to kill you at a traffic stop is seeking to kill your son while he's at school at 4 years old. The same one that wanted to make sure that you got hooked on crack cocaine and heroin and died of an overdose or ended up killing some brother or killing yourself selling drugs is the same one that's trying to make sure that your woman aborts your baby before it ever gets to draw breath on its own. There are no sidelines in this war. Every nation is at war against you and your people at every way possible. Economically, financially, education-wise, history-wise, religiously, every way possible. There are enemies on all sides. There are no sidelines. The sooner you realize it and get in here to get trained, the better off you'll be. All right? So keep going.
Verse 20. He have not dealt so with any nation.
The Lord have not dealt with these other nations of people. The prophecies, the turning water into wine, splitting the Red Sea, learning about reincarnation, learning that the world is not flat, but it is a circle, learning how the evaporation system works, that water goes to the ground and then distills back as it evaporates and goes back up into the clouds. All of that before the Greek scientists, before Plato and Aristotle, whoever the hell his name is, before all of those, you understand, the Lord revealed his secrets to the prophets. He didn't deal so with any other nation of people. You understand? So keep going. Is that the end of it? It should be a little bit more. Go ahead.
And as for his judgments,
right. That's a point right there. As for his judgments, when you read the scriptures, there are words that need to be broken down. Very important words. Of course, reading in class, you'll learn those things, and reading in camp, you'll learn those things. Judgments is a very important word that needs to be broken down, because in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, we do not know the definitions of words in the Bible. Judgments are the punishments for the laws that you break. You understand? We don't have a concept of judgments. That is why we are always facing judgment as a people. There's a million of us in prison because we are raised in a religion where there are no rules, laws, or judgments. You just hope for the best. Everything is magic. It will magically get better. The fire magically gets put out. You magically just going to die and live in a sand castle. You're going to sing and dance and everything just magically works out. That is what our religion teaches us, that it does not teach to the rest of the people who are in the same religion. That's why we don't have religion, because the Bible doesn't have it. The Bible has statutes, laws, and judgments, which is what we're reading about right now. All right? Those laws against raping. The other nations of people don't have laws against raping. A little boy, a little girl, a man, a woman, they don't have laws against that. The samurais routinely molested the young warriors to teach them to be a samurai. That's just a part of the process. So did the Greeks, so did the Romans, so did the African warriors, so did Esau on the island of Lesbos to make his Roman legions. The ones who have laws to not molest little boys and girls and sons and daughters and children, those are the Israelites. That comes from us. Not being a murderer, not stealing, putting a landmark to divide your line from your neighbor's line. Laws against property, laws against maintaining your animals, maintaining your oxen, your horses. Your ox wanders into my land and kills somebody, you're responsible. You understand? These laws, civil laws, marital laws, family laws, all of these laws are contained in the Bible. The Bible is not what they teach in church, those 10 commandments. There's 600 plus laws, statutes, and commandments in the Bible. The entire constitution and framework on how to have a nation, you understand, is recorded in the Bible. All right? So keep going.
They have not known them.
They don't know these laws, statutes, and commandments. They didn't get them. They didn't have access to our rules. That is why Muhammad studied the real children of Israel. He studied them, and he realized that these 360 gods that the Arabs worship, one God for every day, that was a foolish concept. And somebody might love the God of day 365 more than day 211. How the hell can you unite your people if everybody chooses what God they want for what day? And then he found out that the children of Israel that were tied to the real God, their laws were much better than everyone else's laws. And then he adopted that one God, and now all the Arabs have one God instead of the many gods that they used to worship previously. You understand? All right. So that's it on that, right?
Praise ye the Lord.
Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye the Most High. All right. All right. That's it on that now.
Con.
Most High in Christ. The water. All right. Good reading. Y'all take me to where you at 3 and 1?
Come. Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Most High have spoken against you,
like
O children of Israel.
Exactly. The Lord is saying he's spoken against the children of Israel. There's something that the children of Israel did that the Lord is angry about. All right. Young man, can you take me Deuteronomy chapter 8 and hold verse 1, Bub Kashar. The Lord is angry at the children of Israel for something. Keep going.
Against the whole family, which I have brought up from the land of Egypt, saying,
family. You understand? Like he's talking to his family. He's not saying everybody's family. The God of the Bible, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the family of the God of the Bible. The Bible is family records. It's not everyone's records. These are the records of one family of people. So keep going.
Amos chapter 3, verse 2. You only have I known.
You only. Very specific. The Bible is not inclusive. The Bible is exclusive. You understand? He said, you only have I known. Keep going.
Of all the families of the earth.
Of all the what of the earth?
All the families of the earth.
At first he said, I'm talking to my family. That was in the first verse. The second verse, he's making sure that you understand that there are other families. Everybody comes from Adam and the people who thou hast chosen. He's making a clear distinction. You understand? That's why the Bible says break it down line upon line, precept upon precept. That's what's going on. All the other families of the earth, they're different families, but the first one is his family. Of all the families of the earth, keep going.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Very personal. He said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, so I'm going to punish you. That's black man talk. I'm not punishing everybody's kids. Everybody not my child. You my child. I told you not to do it. I don't care what they're doing over there. What did I tell you not to do? That's what he said. I'm going to punish you for all your iniquities. That's what the Lord said. All right. So keep going.
Amos chapter 3, verse 3.
So like you're not 3 and 3. Take me down to verse 6.
Amos chapter 3, verse 6.
The Lord is saying he's going to punish us as a nation. All right. Keep going.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city?
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city? This is talking about a trumpet it's a small instrument, but it's very loud. Very loud. It makes way more sound than you would not expect that much sound to come out of a trumpet. You understand? A trumpet blown in the city, it would give you a warning. It would give you a noise or an alarm. Today, you don't hear trumpets in the cities. We have something called sirens. At one point in time, those sirens were trumpets blown in the city to give you a noise, to give you a warning, to give you an alert. Now we have sirens on the ambulance and the fire truck and the police cars. We got different signals that give you a message of warning, danger, alert, pay attention. The Lord is saying a question. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city? Shall an alarm be blown? Keep going.
And the people not be afraid?
And the people not be afraid and not cause a panic. Imagine you just driving somewhere and then out of the blue, you hear the fire truck. Everybody looking. Where the hell is it? Is it behind me? Do I need to get over? Is it a fire? Is it an accident? What's going on? Police swarming in and out the alleys, driving around, swerving everywhere, running red lights. The people, everyone is going to pay attention. You understand? And this is what the Lord sent the prophets to do, to warn our people, alarm our people, tell everyone to pay attention. Of course, most of our people never listen to the prophets. Never. You understand? Keep going.
Shall there be evil in the city?
Now this alarm is going off to give you a warning. Shall anything evil happen in the city? Anything evil. Floods, earthquakes, overdoses, murders. You understand? People get struck by cars, suicides, anything evil that you can think of. Kidnappings, anything evil you can think of. You understand? I'll give you some evil that most people don't think of. You're coming home from a birthday party, and then the police snatch you up and put you on false charges, and then lock you up in Rikers Island for 3 and 4 years. That happened to Khalif Browder. That happened to Khalif Browder. You understand? They said he stole a book bag. Of course, they lied. He said it wasn't him. They had no evidence. He's walking home from a birthday party. Something that the Lord told us we are not to celebrate the customs of the other nations of people. He didn't commit a robbery. He didn't commit a murder. He didn't steal anything. He was not a threat to society. But he did something that the Lord told us not to do. There's so much evil that happens to our people that we must learn from. We must learn from these things. It's the difference between life and death. We have a force, our oppressor, that preys on our ignorance as a people. Preys on the fact that our people are a people who have leaders that teach them no rules and laws how to survive. Our leaders have taught us no rules. Think of all the families we have that are destroyed, all the child support, all the mothers raising children by themselves, all the brothers having their children taken away and some woman running to another state, and you don't find out where the hell your kids are until you get a summons for child support. You understand? Think of all this. That's just a small percentage. And our leaders say nothing. Have you ever heard Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar teach our people how not to end up on child support? Tell sisters how not to show up at the job and bust the windows out of her man's car because he got another woman? Never. They give us none of the rules that God actually gave us rules in the Bible about how to live and function as a people. And then sent us prophets to make sure that we knew that he was serious and tell us how dire the consequences were going to be. This is what it says. Shall there be evil in a city? Keep going.
And the Lord hath not done it.
Shall anything evil happen in a city and God didn't do it? Hey, Shalom, it says, shall there be any evil in a city and the Lord have not done it? You understand? What do you say? You got some noise? Okay. Let me say, bear with me just a moment. Any evil in the city. You understand? Huh. Okay, what about now? Okay, is any brother said he's hearing some background noise? Nobody else said anything. Anybody hearing any background noise now?
There's a little bit of feedback out of one.
It's like what you said?
That's a lot out of one. There's a little feedback.
Okay, you're hearing feedback.
It's not a lot as it was before the first one.
Okay, hold on. I'll tell you what. Let's see. Maybe it's big. Okay, what about now? Let's
I still hear a little bit out of one.
Microphone enhancement, speaker enhancement. Static. Okay, so here static. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, that's static. All right, what about now?
I feel here. I mean, it's not loud enough for us to interrupt or anything, but you do. It is a steady hum.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is here, speaker. Bear with me just a moment. I'll tell you that. Let's try this. Noisy background conference call. Single speaker. Let's try this. Let me see. Okay, what about now? Still there?
Kind of still out.
Okay, well, that's the sound. Background. Single speaker. Bam. Let's try this. Single speaker conference. Well, that's automatic. Microphone. Okay. All right, what about now? Y'all still here? Now we're gonna have to move on. If it's still there, it's like a muffled buzz. Is it affecting your ability to hear me? Y'all can hear me though. Y'all can hear me, y'all can hear me, it's fine.
I can hear you all the one.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I checked all the levels. So maybe that's all. All right. Well, we will keep going. All right. Okay. So where were you reading that?
I don't want to just finish on verse 6.
All right, verse 6. Read that from the top. It says, "I stop when I speak." Okay.
All
right. Well, I guess I just got to speak more. All right.
Amos 3, chapter 6. Amos 3, chapter 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid?
The Lord says, "Shall a you know what? I think I know what it is." Because I got several. Can't unmute your guest. Unmute yourself, Yagador.
Come.
All right. Read now. Go now.
Amos 3, chapter 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid?
The Lord is saying, will the people not be afraid if they hear a warning or a siren or a trumpet? It's better now. All right, keep going.
Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it?
Shall any evil happen in a city, and the Lord have not done? Most High in Christ, the water. I figured out what it was. The water. All right. Like evil that happens in the city, the Lord is doing it. The good news about the evil happening in the city, if the Lord is doing it, then guess what? If the Lord sent his prophets out to tell us that if we didn't obey him, evil was going to happen in the city. So guess what happens if we start to obey the Most High? Give me verse 7. This is a good news.
Amos chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord God, the Most High, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret. But he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
The Lord sent a warning, a trumpet out in the city to tell you that the Lord does evil. He kills and he makes alive. But the Lord is not going to do anything before he tells the prophets. You understand? That's how important it is to obey the prophets that the Lord set up. The Lord does not do anything before he reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. The rest of the planet does not know what's going to happen. But the prophecies that the Lord gave to his prophets are the only reason anyone knows what's going to happen. And those same people, they sit in these Isupk classes and listen to Commander General Yohana. That is why Donald Trump created a space military. Because according to the Bible, Christ is going to come back with 200 million UFOs, which are the armies that are in heaven, to destroy all of the governments of the world and subjugate everyone under his rule and his government of 144,000. That is what the Isupk is building. You understand? They know it so to be true because the Lord reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets, that they made an entire branch of the military preparing to fight in outer space. That's how real this Bible is. The average Black, Hispanic, Native American, our people don't realize it. The average person doesn't realize it. But people who actually have power and authority, who want to rule, they understand that what is in this Bible is true. You understand? That's the end of verse 7. All right, Most High in Christ. Take me to Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 1. You got it. Let me unmute you. All right. 8 and verse 1. You got it.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day, shall ye observe to do.
The Lord is saying all these commandments the Lord gave us, make sure that you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Make sure that you don't eat pork. You don't eat crab, shrimp, and lobster. Don't have sex with another brother's woman. Don't get high. Don't be a drug dealer, which is a witch. Don't smoke weed and cigarettes and worship the gods of the other nation. Like smoking weed is the god, the worship of the Hindu goddess Shiva, and worshiping the Hindu goddess Hera, which is where you get your heroin from. You understand? All your Percocets, your opioids, your lean, all of that is heroin. You understand? All of those things that's in the Bible. The Lord said, don't do those things. Don't worship the zodiac, your astrological signs and sun, moon, and stars and all of this nonsense. Those things that the sons of men did because Adam's sons married their daughters and started to teach them things that the Lord taught Adam on how to serve the Most High. But they were not interested in serving the Most High. They were interested in having power. You understand? Which is what our people forfeit by disobeying the Most High. We forfeit power. And the other nations, when they have power, they oppress our people. All right? So keep going.
That ye may live.
That ye may live. Keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments is how you will not get killed coming home from Christmas or Thanksgiving celebration. No drunk driver is going to hit you and wreck your car and kill your babies in the back of your car coming home from Thanksgiving or Christmas celebration if you obey the Most High. You don't go to church worshiping. I mean, it's so many gods worshipped at church. You worshiping the goddess Diana. You understand? The mother God, which is why you got your Virgin Mary. You think she having babies without having sex. That does not come from the Bible. That comes from ancient Babylon. That's where that comes from. And that's what you celebrate on December the 25th. That is Nimrod's birthday. That's his tree you put up in your living room that you put presents for Nimrod's birthday. And that star on the top of the tree is for his mother, Semiramis. Well, if you don't celebrate those things, then you won't have to die when your house burns up because you put lights and a tree in the middle of your living room and it catches on fire and kills everybody. You won't have to die that way if you obey the Most High. We don't eat pork and crab and shrimp. Then your arteries won't swell up. Your feet won't swell up into a balloon to the point where you can't walk and your joints all start to deteriorate. If we obey the Most High, we will live. You understand? That's what the Lord is telling us. Keep going.
And multiply.
And multiply. We are not multiplying now. We are not living and we are not multiplying. Abortion stops us from multiplying. The Lord gave us laws on not being a murderer. You understand? You can't murder your baby. If we don't murder our baby, we are 18 million in the hole since Roe versus Wade. That's about 20 million black babies, black, Hispanic, Native American babies, 20 million in the hole since Roe versus Wade. And the Lord gave us commandments to say, thou shalt not murder. Think about the hypocrisy of being angry that some oppressor kills a black man at a traffic stop, guns him down and executes him, which everyone should be furious, but no anger about the 1,200 black babies that black women abort in America every single day. 400,000. It was one year, I think year 2008, 2007, 1 year when Obama was in office, that it was like something like 580,000 abortions that were registered. I mean, something crazy. And then you'll turn around and protest when one oppressor murders a black man, but you won't be upset when you and your sister and your cousin and your daughter and your granddaughter, you tell her that she's empowered and taking ownership of her body when she go and murder a baby. You understand? The Lord said your life will be cut short for doing that. Whether it's fibroid, thyroids, whether you get hit by a bus, you have a heart attack and die at 20, or a stroke, or some beef happens a block away and some bullet goes from 2 blocks and hits you while you're getting in your car and you die, the Lord kills and he makes alive. And no evil happens in the city without the Lord doing it. And the Lord is saying with that siren and that trumpet from Exodus chapter 3, from Amos chapter 3 and verse 6, you understand, that a warning be done in the city because he revealed his secrets to the prophets before he acts. All right. So keep going.
And go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers.
The Lord made a covenant to our fathers, and we to this day have never, ever possessed all of that land. The land that the Lord gave to Abraham, he said, everywhere your footsteps and your eyes see belongs to you. We've never got all of that land back. The land that the Lord gave from Adam to Adam, the Garden of Eden, that Euphrates River has dried up so many different times. That land goes from damn near Turkey all the way to Afghanistan. You understand? We never got that land back since Adam listened to Eve and disobeyed the Most High in the book of Genesis. All of that we're going to get back when Christ returns. You understand? Lord willing, we get all of that back. All right. Now, give me verse 2.
Verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness.
The Lord is saying, remember all of this hell and strife that you went through in the wilderness. The valley of fiery serpents with the poisonous snakes that were killing us because we were getting bit walking through their territory. All the things that we suffered. Our people thinking like slaves, being gluttonous when the Lord fed us with chicken from the sea. He fed us with, you understand, the quails that came up out of the sea. We took those and we ate chicken and biscuits, bread from heaven and chicken from the sea. We ate chicken and biscuits for 40 years in the wilderness. The Lord said, remember these hard times. Remember how I was with you in your struggles. Remember and learn what happened when you disobeyed the Most High, when the angel opened up the earth and it killed thousands of brothers and sisters because one of us decided to worship the gods of the other nations. One brother decided he was going to break God's laws and go have sex with a heathen woman because he felt like it was his right, his body, his choice. And now thousands of brothers died because he felt he had a personal, he wanted to do his own thing. He thought he could be separate from the rest of us and be an individual. And he got thousands of brothers killed. The Lord put these things in the Bible so that we learn in our suffering, in our struggling, in the times when they were bad. So many of our brothers and sisters forget the Most High once times are not as bad as they were. See this all the time. You understand? Brothers are being class, sisters being class for a time when they're very hurt, they're very struggling, their pockets is hurting, they don't have the exact money that they need, they're trying to catch up on bills, struggling here and there. I've seen this time and time again, and this happened to us all throughout the Bible. You understand? All throughout the Bible, this kept happening to our people. And the Lord was saying, you've been suffering, but don't forget this. Don't forget that I was with you. Don't forget that I was there. Don't forget the lessons that the Lord had us learning in that wilderness, just so that now when you straight, you abandon the Most High. You understand? Like this is what the Lord was saying. So keep Trooper Yagadar, then the brother's phone drop by accident. Go ahead and give me that Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2.
To humble thee.
To humble thee. Start from the top.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness.
The Lord made a way for us in the wilderness when we did not have a way. You don't just find your way in the wilderness, in the desert. You don't find where you're going. If you don't know where you're going and you don't have a guide, that's it. There's no water. There's no refuge place just waiting for you to help you not get eaten alive by wolves or foxes in the desert, or all the poisonous snakes and spiders and scorpions and adders and copperheads and rattlesnakes. You don't just find where you're going in the desert. If there's no guide leading you and there's no one protecting, watching over you, you are going to die in the desert. That's it. And the Lord led us. He taught us. He protected us. He raised us. He made us a nation. We were a people coming out of Egypt, but we were not a nation. 40 years in that wilderness, we raised a generation of people as a nation. You understand? So I cannot really hear. You cannot really hear. Okay. You said you could not really hear. Click back on. I'm not sure what you mean, because you were sounding good the whole time. Try it again. You might need to restart it. Try it again. All right. You don't want to just click off if you can't hear, because you were reading just fine. You don't want to do that. All right. So now what the Lord was saying there. All right. Yeah. Just click it. Come back in. All right. It says, thou shalt remember all the way what the Lord did these 40 years in the wilderness. Keep going.
To humble thee.
To humble thee. That's why the Lord does these things. Our people are very proud. Our people are extremely proud. You understand? So proud that any other nation would learn from the mistakes, from the consequences and the amount of suffering that our people have had. For the amount of mistakes, the amount of trouble, the amount of failures, the amount of consequences that our people have had to face generation after generation for disobeying the Most High. The things that our people still believe are right, even though we face 60 years of consequences. Our people are so proud that these civil rights leaders, our people are still following them. 60 years. 60 years, our people are still following them. 60 years of Al Sharpton. 60 years of Jesse Jackson. 60 years of We Shall Overcome. Our people are still joining our oppressor, still going to their military, still trying to sell drugs, still trying to prostitute our sisters. Sisters still selling their tail trying to make ends meet. You understand? Like all of these things, our people never, ever learn from our mistakes. Still eating pork and crab. It killed grandma. It killed big mama. It got your mama. Everybody with fibroids and thyroids, feet swelling up, bad knees, bad back, still won't give up that pork. Still won't give up that shrimp. The baby's got asthma. Your weed and your cigarettes that you smoke are causing your babies to have learning disabilities. Their brains aren't functioning. Because every time you smoke a Newport 100, then pick up your baby and blow your Newport breath and put your poison-flavored lips on that baby, you damage their brain. You damage their skin membranes. You damage their organs, but you don't care because you're so arrogant, so proud. No one can correct you. No one can tell grandma, God said don't eat pork. The doctor said pork is killing us. We have to stop. Grandma is too proud and arrogant to change because God said it. The Lord said, stop smoking. We are number one in heart disease, throat cancer, lung cancer, even prostate cancer is affected and exacerbated by smoking. You understand? All our guts going bad, digestive tract falling apart, shrimp and crab, bones getting brittle, and our people are still too proud to receive correction. All of the children getting molested in church, sisters still too arrogant to stop going to church. Showing what's in the scriptures, we go on the street rather than realize that what we are doing is wrong and see the examples that we're saying. Don't you see this is what has happened to our family? Everybody knows this, right? Half our people still want to fight us for it. This is what happened with the prophets. And this is why the Lord recorded that there in the Bible. He's saying, you understand? You understand? All right. Like this is what the Lord is saying. He's saying, I did these things to humble thee. All right. Our people were doing good in America. They were doing all right. They weren't doing wonderful, but they were doing all right, doing much better. Better once you got the government jobs, once you got into the NFL and the NBA, once you're able to rap. You got your rap money, your gold chains, your Bentleys, your shoes. You were able to sell your coke, your pills, your weed. You got you understand, your beef and broccolis, your first downs, your starter jackets, your North Face. You understand? Up here, that North Face jacket was more than enough for you to lose your life. The Timberlands, the Butters, the Cinnamons, a pair of Butters, some starter jackets. You were a pair of Jordans in the 90s. That was a death sentence, man. You had a pair of Jordans, you had to be ready to lose your life over those Jordans, man. Like our people were able to do well in this oppression. Even though we were under our oppressor, our people were able to do well. And in the process of doing that, we abandoned fixing the problems of our people. I'll give you another example. Everybody upset that Angela Bassett didn't win that Oscar for that Wakanda movie she did. You understand? Even though she died, she barely did anything. But Jamie Lee Curtis won that award. Our people made our own awards. We had Soul Train awards. Don Cornelius built up Soul Train. We had Motown. We used to get together and do our dances, not make dances so that white kids could do them. We did our own dances. We roller skated. We had our own afro, our curls, our big, you understand, we were together, we were jamming, and we were not worried about making sure that everyone else was welcomed in our society. Just like they're not worried about making sure that you are welcome in their society. And we lost that humility, that brotherhood that we got through struggle, that slavery made us bond together, that we couldn't leave each other. And now WIC and TANF in Section 8 and housing vouchers, those things ate away at our bond. We weren't together forever like we were on the plantation. We weren't running away. We knew we had to run away. And if those dogs catch us, these white folks was going to kill us. They were going to hang us. They were going to lynch us. They were going to sell us to opposite plantations. We had to be down with one another. We had to fight for each other. We could not turn our back on each other. But then we got money. Then we became Americans. Then we got rid of that afro. We got rid of those braids. Got rid of that beard. We became Americans and Democrats and Republicans and put on suits and ties like our oppressor. And then we left our black spots and sat in his white spots and listened to his music. Nothing wrong with whatever type of music you like. The only type of music that is unlawful to listen to is gospel and praise and worship music. That music is dedicated to Satan. That is unlawful. You cannot listen to that. You understand? You want to listen to some rap, some hip hop, R&B, blues, jazz, soul, rock and roll, whatever you want. It's no sin in listening to music like the Christian church teaches. That's secular music. That does not exist. There's no such thing as that. But that Christian music you listening to, those things are dedicated to Satan because that's the God they worship in that Christian church, not the God of the Bible. But the Lord is explaining here in this Deuteronomy, don't forget how I humbled you. Now that you got your money, now that you can pay your bills, now that you can fill your refrigerator, now that you got Pampers for your kids, don't forfeit your integrity for the money. Don't forfeit who you are. Don't abandon the Most High now that you are not suffering. And I've seen this time and time again, especially in Virginia. Especially in Virginia. Brothers and sisters be back against the wall, no water damn near up to their eyeballs in problems and troubles. And after years and years and nights and sleepless nights of counsel and night after night helping brothers and sisters with their problems and their this and getting their kids back and making sure they got this place, just for brothers and sisters to abandon the Most High once their problems are solved. And this happens all the time. They did it to Christ. They did it to Commanding General Yohanan. The entire nation was built and everyone left, but about 3 or 4 brothers after 2000. Everyone abandoned the truth. And this is exactly, all of those disciples followed Christ until that Last Supper where he said, drink my blood and eat of my body. Everyone left the truth except for 11 men. Everyone abandoned the Lord. You understand? The Bible is not magic. This is written about niggas. It's not magic. You understand? There is no magic in the Bible. And the Lord has this in here to tell our people that he kept telling us before we got to the promised land. Do not forget me. Don't let that gold and that money and those chains and that wealth and that power and the fact that you're not sleeping in a tent in the wilderness anymore. Now you have your own house, your own land. You and your family can stretch out. You have your cattle. You have your goats. You have your business. You are self-sustained. You're not dependent. You can see your way out, as opposed to when we were in the wilderness, you couldn't see your way out. You didn't know how this was going to work out. You had to trust the Most High. Don't throw that away. You understand? This is what the Lord was telling our people. You understand? So give me that now to Deuteronomy. Start verse 2 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove
thee. All right, make sure your computer is muted or turned down, because that's feedback. Just make sure it's turning down. The word prove means to test by a standard. That's what the word prove means. He said to humble thee and prove thee, that even though the Lord is going to give us this power, even though the Lord is going to give us this wealth that we did not have, the Lord is saying, I'm going to prove you. I'm going to see what's inside of you. If life gets hard enough, will you turn on me? You understand? When you start stripping and prostitute yourself, sister, if life gets hard enough, if you have nothing, will you throw away the Most High? If you don't have food, will you eat pork? Will you eat shrimp and crab? Because in your mind, you figure that's the solution to the problem. If you can't pay your bills or feed your family, will you go and take drugs to destroy someone else's family to feed yours? Will you abandon your brother to save yourself? Will you turn on your people if it is for your personal gain? Will you forget the Most High if the Arabs say you can live if you serve Allah? If you serve Caesar Borgia, you can live another day. This won't happen to you. They gave these brothers an ultimatum, the 7 sons during the time of the Maccabees, this sister and her sons. They told her that if your sons eat this pork, we won't kill them. Just eat a little bit of pork. And she told her son, she gave birth to 7 sons now. 7. Those Edomites killed each one of her sons in front of her. And she told those sons, do not betray the Most High. Don't betray the Lord. Don't turn on the Lord. And they cut one son's tongue out because he refused to eat pork. Then they cut the other's hands off because he refused to eat pork. And he mocked them with no tongue and no hands up until the point that they killed him. These other nations are our enemies. They are not our enemies because of what you personally had an interaction with. Whether an oppressor has personally done something to you or not is irrelevant. Whether an African, an Arab, an East Indian, that doesn't have anything to do with the truth. This is not your, mine, or a personal issue with one individual person. These are about crimes that have been done to our people for centuries, that no one wants to fight for justice for dead Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That you now, because you serve Christ, you now say you're going to fight for it. Nobody else give a damn about this. Nobody cares. But now you are. Now you do. Christ does. The disciples did. People don't even know that these things happen. You are in the truth, in the ISUPK, fighting for something that the vast majority of Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they don't even know this stuff exists. They don't know and could care less. But COVID is coming. But World War III is coming. And you are fighting to build a nation for a people that you will receive no thanks for. In fact, the majority of them voted to have Christ crucified. That's who turned the disciples in. That's who killed them. That's who stoned Stephen. That's who went and got the Romans to arrest Christ in the middle of the night after he healed the sick and raised the dead. The people that they were responsible for. This job of serving the Most High, the Lord is a man of war. The scriptures say endure hardship as a good soldier. This is warfare in here. It's not for mommy. Sisters ain't made for warfare. You sisters got a different war to fight. You damn sure too. And you cannot be a coward in this ISUPK. But to be a man of the Lord is not something that is, it's not, you understand, it's not a light job. It's a very heavy, very permanent responsibility. It's not something that goes away because life gets in the way. Because your job and your mom, your family, your kids, my dog, my foot, my health, this doesn't change that. This is about the nation and serving our king. This is not because it's personally convenient for you or me or my father, my family, my mother, my dad, none of that. This is what the Lord revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophets. This is where you get proven in here. Everybody can't stand through the proving process, as they should not. But in here, you will be proven. And that is the same spirit that the Lord was instilling in these brothers and sisters 40 years in the wilderness. There is no change in the spirit of the Lord that the Lord put on Adam, that he put on Noah, that he put on Moses, that he put on the prophets, that was on John, that was on Christ, that was on all the prophets and the disciples throughout the Bible, the Bible. That is the exact same spirit that you are getting put on you in the ISUPK. There has never been a change in the spirit of the Lord. So keep reading.
And to prove thee, and to know what was in thine heart.
And to know what's really inside of you. Everybody can say whatever when times are good. But when the cabinets are empty, that's what's inside of you. When you don't have a bed, that's what's inside of you. You understand? When they took the kids, that's what's inside of you. Your woman leaves you, that's what's really inside of you. To prove you, that's a proving ground. The scripture says, the Lord said, I will bring the third part through the fire. Through that fire is what the Lord put them in that wilderness. And that same fire is what it means to be here in the ISUPK. And not every brother and sister can make it in here. Not every brother and sister can make it in here. But we are still fighting to build a world for all of our brothers and sisters, because that is the order that our King gave us, that he got from our Father who sits in heaven. And it is the same one that we have always gotten since the days of Adam. The mission has not stopped. It's the same mission. And guess what? You might not realize it now, but the last 20, 30, 40 times that you died, you were born back to start the same mission over again. Every time we're born back on the earth. That's what reincarnation is. Not coming back as some damn butterfly or an elephant like the Chinese or the East Indians is going to teach you. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, man. Keep reading, brother.
Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
If you're going to keep the Lord's commandments or not. We'll see. We'll see. Keep going.
Khan. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger.
And suffered us to hunger. There's something about that hunger. The Bible calls it afflicting thy soul. Hunger does different things to a people. Not having the ability to eat does something different to people. You understand? You go a couple of days without food. You understand? You'll have a whole different thing. Our king went in the wilderness for 40 days without food and water. He understands what it's like to not be able to eat. We have the Day of Atonement every year. You understand? When we go without food and water, things that you need to survive for 24 hours, because the Lord commanded it to instill strength in our people, to instill, you understand, something inside of us that is spiritual. Not having food to eat and water to drink, that changes our people. Don't blame brothers and sisters for the terrible decisions that they have made, because our nation is destroyed. You understand? It's a miracle any of us are alive. It's a miracle everyone's mother and father did not abort them. With the lack of money and poor jobs and all the murders, I remember coming up as a child, the amount of murders that happened everywhere I went and everywhere that my family lived. It was like no one was expecting to live past 21, past 18. I think about 14 and 15, me and my friends, we had just decided, say, you know what? I'm almost 85% certain that one of these days, someone is going to murder us. And I'm so tired of funerals. And I'm so tired of watching brothers and sisters die that even though that we are friends here, I'm not going to continue to have my heart broken every time I lose some loved one or friend that is close to me. We are just going to live life in this way, that we already knew it was only a matter of time before someone was going to murder us. And we aren't going to live very long, no matter how much money our parents make, no matter how well or how bad we do in school. And you know what? We're going to live life that way because it's almost up anyway. That was in our spirit as a child. You understand? That's what's inside of our people. Our people live in absolute hell. And thanks be to the Most High in Christ that commanding General Yohana held on to the truth and raised up brothers to go and war out into the streets to rescue me and other brothers from our darkness. Damn right, give me a hand. Rescue other brothers and sisters from their darkness, man. Our people are in absolute hell, and we are fighting for them. And here is how we get proven and tested, just like the firefighters got to be tested. You can't send no firefighter who don't know how to fight fire. You're going to die and he's going to die. You understand? But there must be a proving ground. And fake Israelites avoid the proving ground. Christian church avoids the proving ground. The civil rights leaders avoided the proving ground. The Nation of Islam avoided the proving ground. The Moors and the Egyptologists avoided the proving ground. Well, the Lord proved us in the wilderness, and now he's given us instructions. And here we are again, back in the wilderness, fighting to rebuild our nation all over again. So keep going.
And fed thee with manna.
And fed us with manna. That's bread. Fresh bread, if you don't know. The Lord had fresh bread come down from the sky. That's what we ate. We didn't eat no balanced breakfast of cereal and milk and all of this stuff they saying now you need to survive. Our bodies are cursed by the Most High because we disobeyed them. When we have the proper bodies that the Lord gave us, we ate chicken and biscuits for 40 years. We didn't get sick. You understand? Like what we are living now is because of how we disobeyed the Most High. When Christ comes back, we will get our proper bodies. Bodies that can't have allergies, that don't have multiple sclerosis or cancer or fibroids or thyroids, bodies that can't have AIDS and herpes and gonorrhea and, you know, all of the other sicknesses and illnesses and asthma and all of this other curses that we are under as a people because we disobeyed the Most High. You understand? These are bodies we got from falling, from obeying the Most High. When our King returns, we'll get new bodies, Lord willing, and it will get new bodies, but Lord willing, it'll be us getting them and not dying here with America. You understand? But that's how that is. So keep going.
Which thou knewest not.
We didn't know where that bread came from. We know that we obeyed the Most High and the Most High provided. You understand? And that is what the Lord wanted us to, he wanted to instill this inside of us to get slavery out of us, to get what slaves would do if their back was against the wall, to get what an Egyptian would do if his back was against the wall. That Woman King movie, I fought myself for a long time. I didn't watch any of them damn African movies, but I fought myself through discipline to watch through those things and see what was being said. And as those kings explain those things, as he's explaining, my father sold my mother into slavery, and my aunt was sold by my uncle, and all this kind of nonsense. While everyone is just enjoying the movie, they're glossing over how casually he's talking about selling his own family into slavery. And then this people is supposed to be so great and wonderful because the movie is entertaining, when this bastard sold his own family into slavery. You understand? Like, once you come into the truth and you start to be raised spiritually, as opposed to how you were raised in the world, you will start to see things spiritually. You'll have a different level of understanding that you did not have at first. You understand? So keep going.
Neither did thy fathers know.
Our fathers did not know how we were going to make it. That's why these things were written aforetime for our learning. They were written here so that we can draw strength from what our people suffered, not to forget about it and go and make the mistakes that they made, to learn from them so that we can improve our people. You understand? So that we can improve, so we don't have gunshots in the goddamn hallway. You understand? So keep going.
That he might make thee know that man does not live by bread alone, bread only.
Right. Let us know that we don't only live by bread. We don't live by whatever we can put into our mouths to survive for another day, because that is how life was in Egypt. We were not living, we were surviving. And that is how life is for us here in America. You're scrambling, you understand? You're having sex for $40 to get your phone bill paid, all kind of nonsense. You're stripping, you're OnlyFansing yourself to death, whoring yourself out, whoring your sisters out. We in there getting rid of all of our culture, all of our soul. You're straightening your hair so nobody finds out you got curls under there, all manner of things so that we can fit into a place when what we are supposed to be doing is building our own society so that we don't have to fit into another people's society. That is what Christ died for. That's what the disciples were killed for. That is what the truth is. You understand? So keep going.
But by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High does man live.
Right, by the words written. That's why we read, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and judgments unto Israel. Skip me down to verse 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 6. Therefore, thou shalt keep the commandments of the Most High thy God.
The Lord said we shall keep his commandments for that reason. Keep going.
To walk in his ways and to fear him.
And to fear him. And to fear what?
And to fear him.
The Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and to fear the Most High. Walk in his ways. You understand? That's what the scripture said, to walk in his ways and fear him. All right? Have a concern about how we live our lives, because we have requirements that God has. You understand? We can't change because the season changed. At one point, it was unacceptable to be homosexual in the black community. It was unacceptable if you just had too much mommy in you. It was unacceptable. You understand? If you walked too funny, if you laughed too funny, if you had your hand out too long, if you made a face after something, your uncle, what you make your face like that, boy? Fix your face. You understand? They had uncles do that. It wasn't allowed. If you dressed a certain way, well, you can't wear that out there. You got to change that. You can't change that. But she just, don't you tell me how to correct my daughter. You can't wear that. Change that. Change that. You can't wear that. That's too much. Cover that up. You understand? Like, there was an authority and things were in a proper place. Everything wasn't perfect, but we were much better then than we are now. You understand? So keep going.
Verse 7. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land.
The Lord is going to bring us into a good land, just like any black parent does. Black, Hispanic, Native Americans. For those of y'all that don't know who don't speak Spanish, Hispanic parents, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, or Latino parents, because Hispanic excludes some of the tribes, because the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. But the parents say the exact same thing to their kids before they go in the store. You already ate. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't embarrass me when we get in here. If you show your tail, I'm going to beat your tail. You better act right. All right? I done told you. And you know, if you get in there and you get too happy and you playing around and you think to ask for stuff and you look up and you get that look. And that look says everything that needs to be said. Everything is in that look. You understand? So keep going.
A land of brooks of water.
Brooks, that's fresh water and streams. We in the wilderness without water. We go into a place that's filled with fresh water. Things that we did not have readily available to us. Keep going.
Of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills.
Oh my goodness. Valleys, hills, mountains, fountains. We didn't have any of this before. But we got it. But we will have it. Keep going.
Verse 8. A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees.
Right. Wheat and barley, that's how you make bread. You get bread, your flour, your wheat, your barley. Barley is another type of grain or oat that you use to make bread. All right. That you use to make good bread. Not this stuff we getting in the grocery stores now. That's not good bread. A lot of that. It's just sugar and chemicals and bleached processed flour, which most of that is. The good bread is about $7, $8. All right. And it doesn't last very long. Keep going.
And pomegranates.
Pomegranates, you understand? Everybody know that fruit. You cut it open, you eat the seeds inside of it. That's what pomegranate is. Keep going.
A land of oil, olive, and honey.
Oil, olive oil, and honey. You understand? Wonderful things. It's got honey, it's got olive oils, all the things that make life wonderful and rich and luxury. You understand? All those things that it's talking about there, that's what's in this land. All right, young man Kenny, I want you to pick up from verse 9. All right. You got it.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 9. A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness.
You're going to eat bread without scarceness. Scarce means it's very, you understand, it's not a lot of it. There's not a lot of bread left. That's why everybody fighting over the bread. You understand? We're going to eat bread without worrying about when is the next time that we'll have more bread to eat. The Lord gave us bread, but we had to wait until we got more bread. You understand? Keep going.
Shalaki. Okay. Thou shalt not lack anything in it.
You're not going to lack anything. Right now, you're in the wilderness lacking. You don't have this balanced breakfast with all of these minerals and all of this other honey and olive oil and pomegranate. You don't have it right now, but you are going to get it. It's coming. Keep going.
A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass.
It's talking about digging brass out of hill, and the stones are made of iron because this land is rich with minerals. Right now, America is looking for a reason to go to war with Mexico. That's why they're running that story about them brothers that went down there trying to score drugs. And you understand? Same thing with Venezuela, is filled with minerals. Same thing with Haiti. That's why the president of Haiti was assassinated, so that the U.S. could go and invade it to take all of the minerals out of those hills and those mountains, because that's how you get minerals. In the Bible, it is telling you where and how you get and extract minerals out of mountains and hills. This was written over 2,000 years ago. You understand? This is what the Lord is saying. So keep going.
Verse 10. When thou hast eaten and art full.
When you eating and you full, you wasn't properly getting full this way. You might have been eating. You weren't starving in the wilderness, but now you're going to be able to eat and be full and not lack anything. You understand? The Lord is trying to uproot that slave mentality out of us to do whatever to survive. The Bible says, the Lord said, strive for the truth unto death. Then I shall fight for thee. You understand? Like that's what it says here in the Bible. Keep going.
Then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee.
Then you bless the Lord for the good land that he have given thee. That's why it says in Psalms 137, how shall I sing the Lord's songs in a strange land? We over here in America in prison, the damn church is telling you to sing happy praise Jesus songs. We're in captivity. We're in prison. That's why we're living on top of each other. That's why you're hearing everybody's conversation, hearing their babies, they're yelling and arguing and fussing. We in these cities is big jail centers. You understand? Like, that's how we piled up on top of each other, and everybody's at each other's throats because all the damn resources are gone. They took all the resources out of the city when they created suburbs, and that was because of integration, which the Lord told us never to do. Keep going.
Then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee.
Right. We pray, we blessing the Lord for the land. All right. Keep going.
Verse 11. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God.
Beware means be careful. Be very careful that you don't forget the Most High. Now that you can see where your bread comes from, you're not dependent on the bread to fall from the UFO that's hovering above your head, that's keeping you warm at night. For those of you that don't know, it's extremely hot in the desert during the day. And it is also extremely cold in the desert at nighttime. You understand? Well, we had a big pillar of fire, which was the same UFO that followed us during the day as a cloud. You understand? Keep going.
In not keeping his commandments.
Don't forget the Lord. And now that you have your own food and mountains and minerals and water, don't think that you no longer need the Most High because you have your own, which is what most of our people think. Our people think in the Christian church that God is with us because we have the ability to eat bread and put groceries in the car and, in the house and things. That doesn't mean that the Lord is with you. The Lord was not with the children of Israel for many, many years. And the children of Israel disobeyed the Most High, and the Lord was extremely patient, even though he was extremely furious with what we were doing. All right. So keep going.
And his judgments.
And his judgments. Don't forget his judgments. The judgments keep the society from becoming a lawless society, because the judgments of the Most High is how you know that if you're rich, you can't rob a man that is poor. Or if a man is rich because you're poor, that means that you can now go and steal from him because he's rich. You understand? If you're poor, that means that a rich man can go and pay to have sex with your wife because he's rich and you're poor. You understand? You can't do those things, but the Lord is explaining, I did this to test you to see what you were. Now I'm going to give you these and see how you act. That's what the Lord was saying. Keep going.
And his statutes.
His statutes, his laws, statutes, and commandments, his judgments, to see if you are going to uphold his reputation that he chose us to be above all the other people on the earth, and he made us separate. He gave us his laws. He gave us prophets to tell us the future. He gave us instructions. When he created everything, he gave us instructions. Nobody else on the planet has the instructions that the Lord gave to the children of Israel. That is what we read in Psalms 147 and in Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. He's saying, damn, I gave you everything. I made you special. I told you what to do. I gave you the keys to success. I set you in your own land. I killed the Egyptians off, wiped out their armies, wiped out your enemies, wiped out the giants, gave you this land. I was a husband unto thee. I took care of you. I corrected you. I made sure that nobody could step on you, and you turned on me. That's what the Lord was saying. He was telling us, don't get in here now that you got everything and forget about me. And that is exactly what our people did. Keep going.
Which I command thee this day.
Which the Lord gave us commandments this day. Today. You understand? Shalom. Y'all says, the Lord is saying, which I command thee this day. I'm giving these commandments. This is how we stay great as a nation. Nobody thought that if I do this here, this will affect the future generations. They didn't see all of black businesses failing and the people we integrated with giving drugs so that brothers could sell drugs to the rest of the neighborhood. And then those brothers did not see the next 2 generations all killing each other, strung out on drugs. They didn't see that. The prophets saw it, but our people were accustomed to ignoring the prophets. And this is what the Lord was saying. Don't forget what I taught you. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 12. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full.
Yeah, now that your belly on swole, you eating and you full. Say, I'm eating out here, eating good. Keep going.
And has built goodly houses.
Now you got a house. You ain't sleeping in no tent no more. You ain't sleeping in the tent no more. We slept there. I'm saying that because we slept in tents. A tent is a booth. That's how we live. We had entire millions of us slept in tents because we didn't have our own land. We didn't have houses and rivers and streams. We packed up those tents and we walked on a regular basis. The Lord had us walk in circles for 40 years. That's how we had been living. The plains, the Native Americans, the tribe of Gad, they lived in teepees. That is a symbol for the nation of Israel. Symbol for the tribe of Gad. It's always been that way. You understand? Keep going.
And dwelt therein.
And we lived in those tents. We didn't have our own homes with rain and waterproof roofs and all of that, able to get your plumbing and everything going on. We lived in tents. And we were able to make a society for ourselves in tents because the Lord gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. Even though we did not have everything, we didn't have the fresh water, we had to depend on each other, and we had to act a certain way. We couldn't just go off and just everyone turn on each other because times is hard. We got to get stronger together. And that is what the Most High wanted us to do. That is what he was instilling inside of our people. Keep going.
Verse 13. And when thy herds and thy flocks multiply.
And now you got herds and flocks. Your sheep is getting fat. Your cattle getting fat. You're having lamb chops. You understand? And oxtails and sirloin and steaks and porterhouse and bad leather garments. Now that you're able to get your sheep and your fur for the winter, you living good. You ain't hurting. Your back ain't against the wall. Your ribs ain't touching no more. You understand? Now you living good. You understand? The Lord came through and he delivered on his end like he swore to our forefathers. And he's going to do it again. This is what he's saying. Don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. That's what the Lord was saying. Keep going.
And thy silver and thy gold is multiplied.
I mean, you got silver and gold now. You living good. Silver, gold, steak, cattle, lamb, rivers, pomegranate. Niggas eating pomegranate. We was in the wilderness eating a 2-piece for 40 years. Now we come in here, we got honey, olive oil, steak, pomegranate. You understand? We living good. Good houses, silver, gold. You understand? We living much better than we had been since we left Egypt. And this was a promise that the Lord had made. And the Lord made that promise, and that promise was good, even though we did not see it while we were in Egypt. If not for that prophet that trusted in the Most High, Moses is the reason that we got out of Egypt. The Lord gave power to Moses, but Moses is the reason that we got out of Egypt. And they turned on Moses. You understand? They turned on him. And it didn't take long either. In that wilderness, they repeatedly turned on Moses, and the Lord killed them for it. They voted to overthrow Moses, and the Lord overthrew that vote and killed all of them in Numbers, the 12th chapter. You understand? Keep going.
And all that thou hast is multiplied.
I mean, damn, everything you have multiplied. All right. Keep going.
Verse 14. Then thy heart be lifted up.
Now your heart is talking about your mind. Your heart is just an organ in your chest that pumps blood. When it talks about your heart, it's talking about your mind. Now that you living good, you got money, you got family, you got wealth, you got power, you got everything that you want and could need in life. You don't need the Most High. You don't need no prophets. I maybe needed you in the wilderness because we didn't know where we was going, but I got land. I know where I'm at. We straight. I don't need y'all no more. I'm eating good. Got my family, got my kids, got my money. You understand? Kanye West said, wait till I get my money right. Wait till I get my money right. And Kanye got his money right and never looked back on black people. He abandoned black people as soon as he got that money right. That dark, twisted fantasy album was a 360 different from Graduation. He said, oh, hell with all this nigga stuff. Get this white man money. Get me a Kardashian, an Amber Rose. I'm done with all that soul music and Sisters and Chaka Khan. You understand? Give me some white girls now. You understand? Don't do that. You can't do that. That's unlawful. All right? So keep going.
And thou forget the Lord thy God.
You done forgot that the Lord is the reason you got gold and silver. The Lord is the reason that you survived in the wilderness, and the Lord is the reason that now you got all of this wealth and power and food and brooks and land and houses. The Lord gave those things. The Lord had those things ready for you already, but he couldn't give them to you because you had to be proven. Had you got it, you would have destroyed yourself. And no laws, no rules. You would have got there and held a democratic election. Next thing you know, you would all married Egyptians and Africans would own it all. We'd be back in goddamn slavery all over again. Like, that's why the Lord said, I did this to prove you. See who you really were. A lot of us wasn't going to obey the Lord, and they died there. So that when they come back, they'll be born to parents that did obey the Lord. That's the truth. That's reincarnation. Keep going.
Which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt.
I brought you out of Egypt. You was in Egypt starving to death, getting beat at traffic stops. I brought you out of Egypt. Don't forget that. You got gold now. You didn't have gold when in Egypt. You didn't have all of this wealth and power. You wasn't straight. I made sure you were straight. They would have killed you had they caught you. I made sure they didn't catch you. I drowned them in the Red Sea. They could have caught you. I made sure that they didn't catch you. I did that. You didn't do that. You would have died if I wasn't there. Don't you forget about me. That's what the Lord was saying. You understand? A black man wrote this. God in the Bible is a black man. This is a nigga talking. This ain't no white man talking. He said, don't you forget about me. Yeah, you straight now. But remember, I looked out. You would have never made it this far without me. Don't you turn on me. Don't you bite the hand that feeds you. Don't you act like I wasn't holding you down all this time. And you just was so smart and so powerful and so wise and you knew every goddamn thing. You didn't have nothing. I made sure that you had. I looked out for you. I kept you alive. I killed those enemies. Don't you turn on me. Don't you forget about me. Teach your sons about me. Teach your daughters about me. You understand? Don't serve no other God. I'm your God. You are my family. I chose you. I said you were special. I gave you your identity. Don't you take no other identity. Don't you take no other God. Don't you join no other people. I put my name on you. That's what the Lord was saying. And our people just turned their back on the Most High and went to go be Africans and Arabs, and Asians, and worship the sun, the moon, and the stars and the zodiac. And the Lord said, I had enough of this. Y'all headed for slave ships. Y'all think it's a joke, huh? We'll see. We'll see. And 400 years, we was at the bottom of slave ships. And we still in Egypt right now, all over again, to this very day. Just like he had Moses warn us with that trumpet we were talking about in Amos, the 3rd chapter. You understand? Go ahead and finish the verse that you're reading on right now.
Right. From the house of bondage.
From the house of bondage, meaning the house of bondage, meaning this entire house is built on bondage. That is what Egypt meant. That's what Egypt means, bondage. You understand? And now the Lord is stating his reputation. That's why it's so much why it's evil that the Christian church is saying the name of the Lord is just saying God, God, God over and over again, like Beetlejuice or Candyman or Bloody Mary or whatever you're supposed to say into a mirror to do some old evil, white man's witchcraft tale or whatever. You understand? Like, that's not the name of the Lord. The name of the Lord is his reputation. You don't learn the name of God without learning about God in the Old Testament. All the disciples in Christ in the New Testament taught about God from the Old Testament. That's how you learn who the Lord is. The Bible says he changed not. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. You understand? So where you at? Just read verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 15. Who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness.
That wilderness is terrible, man. Like I said earlier, we need to go over that again. Keep going.
Wherein were fiery serpents.
Fiery serpent. That's a poisonous snake. Meaning you out here in the wilderness. Ain't no hospitals, ain't no doctors. If this snake bites you, you're dead. Your life is over. You're not going to make it to a hospital. What is a hospital? We're in the middle of the desert, in between Egypt and Iraq somewhere. There are no hospitals out here. That poison get in your bloodstream. Your blood swells up in clots like jello. Ain't no oxygen circulating through your veins. Your life is over. The Lord told Moses to make a bronze serpent, and everyone that looked at that serpent would be healed because of the power that the Most High gave to Moses. And you know what Israel did? They looked up at that serpent, and brothers and sisters was healed, and then eventually started worshiping the goddamn snake instead of serving the Most High. Like our people are simple. You understand? Keep going.
And scorpions.
Scorpion. A scorpion is a bug. It's got claws like a crab. If you've never seen one before, they're not very big. Scorpion is a poisonous roach by all intensive standards. Something that you could very easily miss. Could be in your shoe, in your bag, under a rock. You walking out in sand and rocks everywhere. You don't know where you stepping at. That thing stab you in your foot. That foot swell up. You might lose that foot. That's where the Lord was protecting us walking through this place. For 40 years, danger on every side. And the Lord was saying, I kept you alive. Don't forget. Keep going.
And drought.
Drought. Shortage of water. What no water? You in the desert. Where's the water? Keep walking till you find it. And what did the Lord do? Keep going.
Where there was no water.
That's what it's telling you what drought is. There's no water. Keep going.
Who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint.
He made water flow from rocks, and we drank water. Like the Lord was taking very good care of us. You understand? Like that's what the Lord is saying. Drop me down to verse. Damn. Give me 17. Give me 17 and 18.
Verse 17. And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth.
It's because I'm so smart, because I rap, because I can play basketball and football, because I'm a hustler. I know how to get this money. I know how to go out there and get it. That's why I got this wealth. Understand something. All money ain't good money. And all wealth don't come from the Most High. Satan can give you wealth and bless you too. And you can live a wonderful life serving Satan. You understand? Live a wonderful life serving Satan until the RICO, until the cancer, until the AIDS, until the stroke. Them mafia dons live wonderful life. Until Big Paul Costello got a bullet in his eye, all that wonderful just evaporated in about 20 seconds. All over the seat. You understand? Like the Lord is trying to teach us some things that is a lesson to put into your spirit. Not a song to get you jumping up and down and rolling on the floor. That doesn't teach you nothing in the time of trouble. That's why people think, yeah, Jesus, Jesus, and Jesus is magically supposed to swoop in like Batman and fix everything. That's not how real life works. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 18. But thou shalt remember the Lord, thy power.
You shall remember the Most High. Keep going.
For it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth.
The Lord gives power to get wealth. All the resources belong to the Most High. No matter what it looks like, no matter what you see or what you hear, all of those resources belong to the Lord. Keep going.
That he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers.
He swore an oath to our fathers. And the Lord has not changed anything about the oath that he swore. We need to get back to our side of upholding that covenant that our forefathers made with the Most High. Keep going.
As it is this day.
As it is to this very day. The Lord has not changed. We changed and stopped serving the Most High. You understand? Man, it's so much. I want to end the class, but this is so important Everything in this chapter is important. I'm gonna take it from there because I want to get through it and break it down quickly. You understand? Good reading. Good reading. I just want to take it from there so I can get through these last few scriptures here. But the Lord is saying, as it is to this day. And in verse 19, it says, and it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Most High thy power and walk after other gods. You think now you got this wealth and this money that you have the right to do with your wealth and your money as you see fit. Now that the Lord blessed us with all these houses and farms and cattle and family and wives and children, you understand, and we figure we can turn and serve another God and serve them and worship them. You dedicate your life to serving these gods and live your life after the manner of the people that serve those gods. I testify against you this day that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which the Most High destroyed before your face, just like the enemies that the Lord wiped out for us, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Most High thy power. And that was the orders and the instruction and the warning that the Lord gave us. And our people took it for a joke, and the Lord made good on what he said. You understand? And that's important things that the Lord wants us to turn back to him, because the covenant has not changed. It has not changed, and that's why we get fighting to rebuild our nation and to serve our king and rebuild everything better than how it was the first time that the Lord gave it to us, and serving and praying that the Most High send our king, Yahweh Shai, back to wipe out these nations and give us the kingdom, you understand, that we fight and building up each day. All right, so of course we up over the time. Most High in Christ. All right, we're gonna hit these very quick. All right, let me see. Where is that? All right, go ahead and clap it up, Akim. Good reading, Akim. The water, Most High in Christ. Brothers in here, and let's get these. All right, Most High in Christ. Let's clip this here. All right, get these security announcements. All right, just up here. All right. Put it back on me. All right, just a second to get y'all out of here. The water, we a little up over the time. Got a little bit late start. Most High in Christ. Very important. All right, make sure everybody hit that like, hit that thumbs up. All right, we need those. That helps the channel grow and get more brothers and sisters up in here. ISUPK security announcement. We at ISUPK, we start out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We are all under command of General Yohana. You are not an ISUPK. You are not in the truth. Rule for new brother and sister. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They'll be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves of the world. After that 6-month period, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, you understand that they get counsel from the brother and sister. They're to get counsel from the head to speak to a brother and sister. After that 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to court each other. There's an additional 6-month period in which the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, a commandment from the Most High. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives to you, you give right to the school, or right to isupk.com. Set up your account and send you a receipt right to your email. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount that you would like to give. The upcoming high holy days, a holy convocation is the Passover. The Lord's annual 54th annual Passover will be held in the Raleigh Convention Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, April the 1st. Full week of events, the lamb slaughter, the all-black party, the plantation tour, biggest plantation in the entire United States, the Black Wall Street tour down there in North Carolina as well. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is the following day after the Passover, which is that Saturday, April the 1st. Unleavened bread is that Sunday, where we remember the Lord wiping out our enemies in the land of Egypt that we were just reading about, to free us, to make us a nation unto himself. You understand? And lastly, if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, they're to be in all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, and war scarf. All right. And with that, I'm going to just salute y'all out. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Baraka Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathan by Hashem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. With that, shalom.